Okay, but did you guys hear what Sloan Bella was saying about this Ashlee, Janae, and Joe situation? She just dropped a video on YouTube and it's extremely heartbreaking. This man was allegedly involved in some dark web shit and he was doing certain things for monetary gain.
He lost a lot of his money. In fact, it was taken away as punishment because he refused to do something. This guy is a facilitator on the dark web. I don't know quite what that means. I don't know what he facilitates, whether it's people, drugs, gambling. It's definitely gambling. And here's another thing, just like hunting parties, okay, in different parts of the country that the elites go on and they hunt people, this guy was in a gambling ring on the dark web, okay, like in a gambling ring on the dark web, where the premise is, if we're to look at it like this, the people put money down into his account or into the girlfriend's account. She doesn't know she has an account, by the way, but into their money accounts. And it's like, if he does this by this time, that's a check mark and he'll get $10,000. I'm making up the amounts, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a Simon Says with the benefit of getting money on the back end. So to earn back the money that you lost, took, stole, embezzled, okay, which then led me, when I heard the word embezzled, to the government indictments against him in the United States. So they were coming down with indictments against him for other things he did in the business world. I don't know what they would be, but he literally skipped the country to get indictments away from him physically, or their inability to come after him. That's why he picked this time frame. He literally was sinking and crashing and decided to pull a coup over here by leaving the country. So the embezzling, he was trying to get away from that. But whatever's going on in the dark web or around the dark web is causing people to up the ante, up the bets. I think you got to have sex with her by this time. I think you got to take her out here. I want to see you propose by this date. I want to see her in the hospital by this date. I want to see her taken off the planet by this date. Let's get some people to verify it. Let's get these two guys to follow you to make sure you live up to what you said you'd do on this gambling site on the dark web so that you can gain your money back by doing this over here. It's a really perverted game.
I've been waiting for her to run the cards on this Ashlee Janae situation, and she did. I'm going to need for you guys to listen to this clip and then go over to her YouTube page. She did a full 12-minute card reading on this situation, and it's just confirmed everything that everybody has been thinking. Take a listen.
This travel, one more. Somebody knows a travel agent or a TSA worker. So somebody knows someone who either works at the airport or another woman receiving some sort of payments here. Maybe even, a worker. You know what I mean? I like to call the prostitutes Dominiques, And maybe it was a Dominique, I don't know for sure exactly. Chariot card here in the reverse. This person is being investigated. Again, they're getting some sort of help from a female near their house. Possibly a water sign or an air sign. What's traveling road? What was that about? Money. Somebody's working hard, or somebody worked hard to try to heal a situation, a toxic situation though. So this situation was already toxic. Somebody's low-key a little perverted here, and exactly what I thought. When the pinkies get with a chocolate girl, a lot of times what ends up happening is you're some sort of a fetish. You're some sort of a prop. And this is exactly what it is,
The engagement was a cover-up. And it's hard as hell for me to believe that Ashlee Janae did that to herself. And just because she liked it don't mean that you have to love it. Whatever her preference was her preference. All these people, well, she felt like the grass was greener on, baby, I don't care if she felt like the grass was bluer, yellower, brighter, but I don't care what. Nobody deserves for their life to be taken away, especially by the hands of another human being. Let's be very clear. When it comes down to the engagement, I feel like it was one big hoax. I feel like he wanted the world to believe that he was deeply in love with her. So when he did this, nobody would look at that, if that makes sense, right? He took over 24 hours to reach out to her family to let them know what happened to her. That don't sit well with me. In addition to that, after everything went down, it's hard for her family to get in contact with him. You would think that he would be reaching out to them to try to bring her home, for them to get closure, for him to get closure, right? As well as answers for exactly what happened to her. I don't know, you don't know, we don't know, right? But at the end of the day, my condolences and my sympathy go out to her family. That lady was a beautiful young woman, regardless of how anybody feel about this situation. I hope that she actually gets justice.
So Ashlee didn't do this to herself, and I don't think Joe did it either. I don't have a suspect, but I will show you some stuff. So this is the actual villa that they would have been in. And what you're looking at right here is the entry, okay? The entry goes right into the vanity area, the bathroom vanity area. Let me see if I can move myself out the way. Yeah, see the vanity? Okay, this is the front door right here. And then you see the beads that are falling back, like they're already, you know, pulled back. I'm not talking about those beads. I'm talking about the beads behind the door. Imagine if the front door came open 90 degrees, right? It would block this nook. What you're looking at is not a closet. Everybody's calling what she was in a closet, but it's actually a wardrobe nook. It's like, you know those things where if you have like a walk-in closet, you may have your husband build you like wardrobe shelves. That's what she was in. These villas don't have a designated walk-in closet. They just have this little space for you to hang your clothes, and I'm going to show you in just a second. So this is a typical villa wardrobe nook, okay? This is exactly where Ashlee would have been found. Do you see the space? That's no more than about, like it says here, 2.5 to 3 feet. Ashlee was 5 feet 2. She could have relieved herself from strangling. So this is where I say she didn't do it to herself. And this is actually a great depiction of what it looked like in that villa. You have the metal rods where you can sit your purse or your bag, your shoes. You have the safe at the bottom, because let me let y'all know, I did go and look at a lot of Zuri Zanzibar room tours, so that's how I was able to see it. And then you have the hangers up here, and then you have the rods, the rod that this is where the officials at the resort said that she was hanging from, that rod right there, the top one. So this is the robe that the resort provides. This is the actual robe that would have been used. That rope or that belt around it is what they are alleging she was hanging from, or was tied around her, you know, neck. Not strong, not industrial. Looks like, you know, polyester at best. And I just don't see. Yeah. And then the length of that belt probably was the length of the actual available area that she was sitting in or stuffed in, whatever. Here's another image of how it would look. This is the actual nook from the actual villa at Zuri Zanzibar, okay? Here is someone else with the robe on, and as you can see, the belt that was used in this crime. This is not Ashlee, by the way. This is just a illustration of the actual property. As you can see, this is a huge resort. This place is massive. She was down here. I wish I could point, but if you see Cardamom, that's where she was, in like Villa 25 or 26. They moved him to Villa 65, which was like 8 to 10 minutes away in walking distance, okay? Here is a better image of how the entry looks when you come into this villa. That is the front door. It leads right into the vanity area of the bathroom, okay? Right behind the front door, if you see here, the curtains and that nook behind the door. So when he said he opened the door and he heard like a thud, and then he looked and she was in there hanging, and then he ran to get a manager instead of taking her down, which I don't understand that part either. Also, the robe could be black or I think like a cream color. So just want to let y'all know that. So here is the actual place that she was in when the attendant said he found her. Right here, okay? Right where this person's sitting is where she would be hanging. If you look above, you see those hangers. That's just the length. That's just the distance from the actual metal bars on the bottom to the metal hanging bar for the hangers at the top. I just don't see anyone being able to successfully do that to themselves, especially someone who is 5'2". This area is not 5 feet at all, okay? I just don't understand another part when he said that when he walked in, it was dark. Okay, I know when I went to Jamaica, we had to, in order for us to turn the lights on, we had to use the key card and put it in that slot. So it was like a one action type thing. Once you turn that, put that key slot in, you know, you have lights. But I don't know if that was the case for this villa. I'm assuming so, because this was an eco-luxe resort, meaning that, you know, they're pretty green and they're trying to be sustainable. And also what I found out about Zanzibar is that there is a power issue over there. They have to salvage power. They have a thing called stress loading. Is it called stress loading? Where the residents there, their lights go off at some point in the day for a certain amount of time to preserve energy. So this is one of the reasons why I believe this resort probably had like that one card situation where you just put the card in, you turn the lights off and on that way. And that would explain why it was dark on the inside. But did she do this in the dark? Who did this in the dark? And then if that wasn't the case and it was what we think it is, who would be more prone to turning the lights off as they leave the room? Like, who would be more conditioned and programmed to make sure the lights are off? So I don't know. It's a lot to think about, a lot to unpack. I just, rest in peace, sweetheart. Hopefully we get more answers. But the more I dig and the more research I did about this country, I don't know if anything's going to be done. But I don't necessarily think this is Joe. Could he have employed somebody to do this? Of course. But I don't think his hands were the ones that were dirty. Let me know what y'all think. I'm not picking a person. I'm just looking at what makes sense. This is a huge resort. This is Zuri Zanzibar. And these are villas and bungalows. They're not connected. They're not sharing walls. Most of them are not. So, and where she was, the villas were very close to one another. But yeah, if they were arguing that loud, then the staff heard them, and that can create a moment of vulnerability. And I know it's in Africa, but staff is all shades. Trust me. I took a look. Okay. And you just never know who was waiting for the moment to pounce on, you know, an opportunity with her, no matter how it came. You just don't know. You have to explore other options, especially if you're going to be an investigator, a crime investigator, even from your couch. It's not always the usual suspect, seriously. The press release says that it was the belt from the robe that was used for the hanging. That sounds like a very in the moment type thing. That does not sound premeditated. That sounds like I'm reaching for whatever is available, even if it's on her. But again, I'm not saying it was staff. All I'm saying is we need to open our mind. Think about it. Who else would know that Zanzibar is trying to save on electricity? Who else would find that to be very important, not just to this resort and to this property, but for the country as a whole, because the country is suffering with power issues. And we have to dial back on power usage. So when I leave every room, I'm already programmed in my mind and conditioned to make sure the lights are off, because this is possibly the country I'm from, where I live in, and I'm trying to help the environment. Also, according to the press release, it was said that the attendants go around and apparently around 7:30 at night, which is what they said. The person doing the press release said that, you know, making sure that the guests don't need anything, if they need help, if they need assistance, if they need to have spray for bugs or anything like that. That's strange. Okay. And if you do knock on my door and I say, hey, I don't need any of that, but I do need a charger, and you give me the charger and I say, okay, we'll come back for it in about 15 minutes. I'll be done with it, right? Maybe that's what she said. Maybe that's the reason why she told him to come back, right? And you don't come back in 15 minutes. You come back after you attend a couple of other villas. You remember, you come back, you knock, I don't answer, and you decide to use your emergency key card to enter my room between 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night. This is not house cleaning time. But I don't understand. You don't communicate that you may find an issue with me not opening the door with your manager, with the front desk. I mean, there should be more coordinated effort instead of just entering my room. And then the fact that she was still alive after you discovered her and you didn't, quote unquote, take her down, you ran and got a manager. And this is from the press release. And it was almost like maybe that was you trying to make sure the job was done, and you got to walk a distance to find a manager because, again, this property is big. Nothing is right next door. So you were thinking probably maybe when the manager we get back to the villa, she'll be done. She'll be expired. But she wasn't. She wasn't. You have to see another day. And regarding that whistleblower who lives in Africa and said that somebody told her that Joe come there a lot and etc. Yeah, that's just, it's hearsay. And, you know, some people like their 5 minutes of fame. You just never know. And we don't even know who she is. So I'm only taking that with a grain of salt. All I'm asking people is to stop making it sound like, you know, I am taking our eyes off of Joe. I'm just saying there are other angles that need to be considered because, again, it's not always the usual suspect.